Welcome everybody to the You Can't Comp This NBA trading card show. Without too much further ado, this is episode 2 from Tyson Beck. Interview at You Can't Comp This always went for a lot longer than what we planned. We asked Tyson to come on for 20 minutes. He came on for an hour and 25 minutes. So it was a really enjoyable conversation. And the second half is a little bit different. The first half was very much about Tyson's beginnings, the projects he'd been working on, and then today we're moving into just more hobby chat. And I've listened back to some of it, and it's quite interesting in the fact that Tyson doesn't see the hobby from the same perspective that we do. You know, he's looking at it from a graphic design point of view. He's looking at it from an artwork point of view and the finesse and the skill that goes into that side of it. So it's really good to hear his insights into this. And for example, in the previous episode, he made a very small comment, but it was really poignant to me. It was about the downtowns. He's like, those cards are just so good. We don't need to mess with these cards. You know, and look, it's just so beautifully put. So look, Tyson is a really lovely man. I really hope you enjoy this second part of the conversation. So thank you so much, guys. Enjoy. Alrighty, announcement today from JSA that they have joined forces. Is that the right word? With CCG. So my gut feeling...
Like, what is JSA? I'm just... Not the Justice Society of America? All right.
So...
James Spence Authentication.
Yeah, let's take a couple of steps back. So JSA, basically, all they do is just look at autographs and authentication. Mm-hmm. And then they're teaming up with CCG, which at the moment are in the top 5 of grading companies. And where they make their mark is they're doing sports cards, but at the same time, Pokemon is like and TCG is their bread and butter. Yeah. And I think for me at the moment, you know, we'll talk about this the other week with PSA acquiring
SGC.
Does it really move the needle that much? Look, I don't think it does, but at the same time, I get why companies are now banding together, because if you're battling a behemoth that PSA is, you know, you have to do something to survive. So like for me, this is a survival thing, you know, more than anything. And it will definitely be interesting to see where this pans out. I did find a conspiracy theory about this. So this is from Brian Rice on Sports Cards Nonsense. CGC announced the acquisition of JSA. Blackstone Group purchased CGC. Michael Rubin was included in the deal. Michael Rubin owns Fanatics. Fanatics have been exclusively working with Beckett to authenticate, witness this, in-person signings and slab aftermark autographs sold on fanatics.com. The theory is Rubin used Beckett to understand the autograph market. Fanatics and Rubin witness what we all have known for years, that Beckett is declining rapidly. We will see Fanatics terminate their relationship with Beckett and see a rise in CGC JSA. How's that for a juicy conspiracy theory?
I agree with one of the main points out of that, and that's Beckett are on the decline.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, Beckett. I know there's a lot of people out there. I'm one of them that likes the Beckett slab. The minimalistic amount of the market they're taking up, they are slowly fading into nothingness by the look of it, as far as grading numbers go.
Look, that's a good point, and maybe that is what comes out of this. You know, we say it doesn't really move the needle for PSA, but maybe there's other parts of the market that does get affected, and what you're saying is correct. Actually, the loser here is BGS.
Yeah.
Speaking of BGS, the thing I've noticed recently more I'm seeing from them is like comic books, video games. Maybe they do recreate themselves and move into something slightly different. And that is a really growing market at the moment too.
Yeah. Everybody wants everything graded.
Yep.
Or authenticated.
Yeah. This next ad break is brought to you by Slambox, Australia's best value basketball repacks. Visit www.slambox.com.au to check out the latest series or join the Slambox Facebook page and message them directly. Slambox features big-name autos including Giannis, Zion, LaMelo, Banchero, Chet, Ja, Tatum, and more. Super short prints, case hits from a variety of different products including National Treasures, Flawless, Noir, Immaculate, Impeccable, and more. Slambox has different tiered product levels to cater for all budget levels and collector preferences. Thank you, Slambox, for your support. So this next one is from our friend at Eric Whiteback, and I think Tyson, maybe you should announce this one, actually. I feel you talked about this off air, so I think you really can announce this better than anyone.
Oh, I thought. Well, I saw when we spoke before this podcast started. We saw that he has sold his Twitter account, which is like an alias for himself as an individual, to a media company who was a part of the Fire Festival stuff, which kind of is that doco that everyone knows. So it'll be interesting to see if that content changes or it stays the same and someone's just taking it over. But yeah, obviously Eric, with the person that was running that account, will, I guess, announce in due course what his next role is and everything. But it looks.
Do you care to speculate on what Eric might be doing next?
I would be working with a trading card company for sure. Because I guess like you wouldn't be able to run that account the way he is doing while he's working with a trading card company because of conflict of interest and everything. And
makes sense.
We're speculating here potentially. Yeah,
potentially. So yeah.
Could be a grading company. Who knows?
Yeah, well.
Beckett. He's going to resurrect Beckett. No one could do that.
We've got a listener question. This is from Anthony Milne. So this was a live question from last week, but I think we should really give this one a bit of a crack. What are the thoughts on Luka Doncic's values if he doesn't win an MVP and he doesn't win a ring? Why don't we let our guest answer this one first? Because we all know what Adam's going to say before we even ask him.
Yeah, true.
Look, I just, it's funny with the card stuff. Like I just don't get kind of into too much of the values and everything of cards because I'm focused on the creative of cards. But but also like you couldn't find a bigger NBA fan than me. So when I kind of look at things like, I kind of just look at it on the court and everything. And I feel like so many times with the younger players, I think we spoke about it with Wemby kind of thing, is that there is little to no upside on any of these guys, Zion and Luka and Wemby and all that, because they're already factored in that they're going to be a 4-time champion, 3-time MVP. So if they don't do that, it's going to go down. Even if they do those things, it's honestly probably just going to stay the way it is. So, because even you look at the shift, like Jokic, Jokic is a bad example because he really wasn't like, no one thought he was going to be that. You know what I'm saying?
He's the definition of coming from obscurity, that guy.
Yeah, so you kind of need
the
those.
definition. Yeah.
You need those to kind of work out well. But when these guys come in the league, like Luka's already got 2 MVPs and probably 2 championships built into his price right now.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yeah, so he needs to exceed that, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that he need for it to be worth heaps in the long run, or these guys just ends up becoming, like, dare I say it, I don't want someone to clip this, but like, a lot of these guys just become like a James Harden or a Carmelo Anthony, where it's just stats and nothing else? I don't know.
I don't need to answer the question now. I think Tyson's made my point for me.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
No, I think Luka's amazing.
I think Luka's phenomenal on the court, but I think everybody's paying overs on him. Like they're paying.
Your phrase, Adam, is future prices.
Correct. They're paying.
I was waiting for Tyson to say that. And I said,
oh, okay. They've already banked in. The thing, like, even the funny thing is, like, when Patrick Mahomes won the last 2 Super Bowls, the prices didn't change at all.
Yeah,
that's crazy, isn't it? It's insane because he's already got them built in.
Yeah,
like he's going to need.
He was already there. Yeah,
he's going to need to get to the Brady level at like 7 rings to start seeing movement.
Yeah, right.
Or not probably 7. That's probably a bit. You know, he probably needs to win 4 or 5. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't even. Yeah, did Steph's stuff change that much when he won his 4th? I don't think so.
I don't think the 4th really elevated him there. It was,
which in my opinion actually made him, like, that was the biggest step out of any of his championships.
I think that chiseled him into the mountain, so to speak. Yeah.
I think Steph's a bit different in that maybe if you're buying him, say, in his first 4 or 5 years, then you would have saw those sort of exponential rises. But if we're talking about him in the last couple of years, he's sort of at a different stratosphere, if you would
Yep.
like to use that term, because we're actually talking about some of his rookie cards that have just sold recently. Like they're selling for 20,000 plus for low grade. Like it was PSA 7, the card we were talking about last week, wasn't it?
Something like that. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It
So we're
wasn't,
sort of speculating.
yeah.
If a 10 ever comes up for sale, can you imagine, what that would be selling for?
Yeah. I think the thing with Curry is also like, I mean, it got to factor in how global some of these players are, and like
Definitely.
someone like Curry is huge in Asia. And there's
Yeah.
a lot of money in
Yep.
Asia, a lot of high end in Asia.
Yeah.
Are they big on Luka? I don't know. Like I actually don't know, but I know they're big on Curry. They're big on guys like Allen Iverson. They like what they like over there. They were huge on Kobe, like
Massive on Kobe.
Massive on Kobe. The whole Redeem team witnessed that. And yeah, I guess I think you gotta have worldwide appeal as well.
Yeah.
That's why it's like, yeah, even when you look at like I don't know, like the Ben Simmons, like when people were going hard at him, he really needed to win over the world, not just Australia, to kind of be big in the hobby.
Yeah. Good point.
Poor Ben Simmons. Alrighty, so my answer to this is that I find it very difficult to believe he won't get an MVP. And if he doesn't win a championship, I think that means there's going to be a string of unfortunate events is going to like unfold, basically. So,
well,
more
similar
internal conflict in the Dallas front office that results to some, bad decision making, or he signs some horrible supermax and gets injured, or a combination of both. Sorry, I interrupted you. What were we saying?
No, I interrupted you, but
Not
I was
at
going
all,
to
mate.
ask
Go. Yeah.
sub question, because I've kind of gone over this previously. You were saying, fast forward 15 years, who are Spurs fans have as the number one player of all time? Is it Duncan or Wemby? And who do Dallas fans have as their favorite or number one player of all time? Is it Dirk or Luka? What would you say in 15 years for both?
I think in 15 years' time, in my opinion, it's going to be Luka.
Okay.
But I would also say too, Dirk is going to hold such a special place in people's hearts because like that team was horrible before he got there. Like I remember that team from my childhood. They would they were the Washington Wizards of today, basically. So
if in 15 years, and look, I hope Luka doesn't suffer this, but if the Mavericks don't win a title with Luka, do the Mavericks fans turn on Luka eventually and just be like, he's no Dirk because he can't even get us a chip? Like, do they jump off the train and does it go the other way?
But quite possibly.
At the same
fans are like, it's not Philadelphia. They're not going to spit on him in the street, but it's
But at the same time, actually, but if you think about Dirk's career journey that he took, he had a lot of problems before he got that one championship.
Yeah.
And also, too, if you really think about his career, there was a pretty element of luck that went into that because he played that Miami team that was probably just there a year too early. Yep. And then that team was battle hardened and they were healthy at the same time. Because if you think about that roster, that was a very old roster when they won that championship. Like, you know what I mean? So like that was all the things going together.
The stars aligning, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hey, so this is what I've been thinking about with this question specifically. So this is the NBA scoring leaders at the moment. Luka first at 34 points a game. Yep. Second is SGA. Third is Giannis at 30. KD at 27. Jalen Brunson at 27. Donovan Mitchell at 27. Tatum at 27. Devin Booker at 27. Steph Curry at 26. Fox at 26. Edwards at 26. Trae Young, 26, Jokic, 26. We'll sort of stop that there. That's like the top 13. But where I'm going with this is, when you read that list, for me, this is almost like the changing of the guard because there's not that many of the sort of like the old heads there because of that list, you sort of say, who's not going to be there in the next 5 years? I think Giannis will still be there. Durant will definitely be gone. Jalen Brunson won't be on that list in 5 years' time. Steph Curry won't be. And so then you sort of narrow it down a little bit more, and then you're like, who's still got the chance to get better? I think SGA can still get better. Luka's just 25 years of age.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I'm sort of sitting now. Like, he is so good at basketball. I actually find it a little bit confronting sometimes. And I actually wonder if that's going to be his thing that he actually improves next. It's not his scoring. It's all the other stuff that goes along with it, and they're starting to get those. You spoke about Harden before. I actually think that's a very good comp because those horrible defensive positioning and defensive effort videos of Harden, like they're starting to surface of Luka now.
Dude,
So
there was a period where like James Harden was like the best player I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
He had
he
a
was
month.
ridiculous. Yeah, they had to change the rules for him. He was so good. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I'm sorry. I'm just reading the live chat. And yeah, Matthew Hull's just written hashtag regulate the hobby and hashtag Luca won't win a chip. Adam Amy's main hashtags now. I'm like, this is.
You need another T-shirt, Ad.
I need, with Luca won't win a chip. That's going to go down like a lead balloon. Yeah, I think we spoke about it last week, and I it's not even about Luca as a player. It's probably card value wise. I think, and we talked about future prices, but when we're prospecting on a player, how do you prospect on somebody when people are paying the 5-10 year down the track prices? And that's where it's like last week we checked in with, it was SGA, and I think his silver prisms are around about 700 US. And the pop count is half or a quarter of what the Luka rookies are. So there's less of them available. He's on an upward trajectory, and people are paying this year prices, next year prices for SGA. Do you know what I mean? They're not paying 20-30 prices for like they are for Luka.
But do you think look? I could be completely wrong, but this is me myself. I don't understand why anyone would want an SGA like rookie card if they're like because he's in a Clipper uniform. Like, I don't know. Like, isn't that just weird? Like, if I'm an OKC fan, I'd rather his first year OKC. And I don't know, that's not how the hobby works. But
yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point.
Tyson, this is exactly where you would mention something like that on this show. You are free to say what you want. This is the place. Yeah.
Which I'm a Laker fan, so I'd rather Anthony Davis first year Laker card than his rookie.
Than his New Orleans. Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know. There's just that, especially it being Clippers. Like, it's just not. I don't know. It's just surely that affects a rookie price. If he was okay, if SGA was drafted by the Thunder and he had a rookie card that was a cool card and he was in a Thunder uniform, I reckon it would be worth a lot more than it is today. But that's just my opinion. It could be completely wrong.
Yeah,
it is an interesting card, but it's, I suppose, if the player was drafted to a different team, the rookie card being the most valuable card is what the market dictates.
Yeah, but so for example, what do you think if say Kobe played that first season with the Charlotte Hornets and then went to the Lakers? I feel like his rookie cards wouldn't be worth as much as they are today.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're completely right. Card? Yeah, yep.
But
it's interesting because you've got the draft one with him with the New Orleans cap, isn't it?
The Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, Charlotte Hornets cap.
Yeah. But for me, I guess, I mean, that's got a story, though. He was traded on draft night.
Yeah. But I'm less likely to want something with him in a different team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Aesthetically, you're bang on the money.
Thank you, EJ Cards, for your long and ongoing support of our podcast. EJ Cards are a specialist card shop. They are located Shop 3, 2-4 Whitehorse Road in Blackburn. Also find EJ Cards at ejcards.com.au. On their webpage, you will find an absolute huge range of Pokemon, football singles, team coach wildcards, NBA, soccer, gaming, supplies, sales, reverse auctions, mystery packs for NBA, Pokemon. Also, go onto Facebook and find their break page, EJ Breaks. And don't forget the special promo code for You Can't Comp This listeners. When you go to checkout, after spending greater than $50, use the promo code that you can find on the You Can't Comp This Facebook page. Thank you, EJ Cards, for your ongoing support. How about we finish off the show with one more question, and we'll do it from our top contributor, Matthew Hull. The question I have is, which card player in the Spurs team right now is not getting the attention it deserves because of the Wemby hysteria? My pick is Sochan.
What was mine going to be?
So I might open this up because I think that's a very specific question. Why don't we open this up to the league? Because actually, I think this is a really good one to talk about. Even if you say we're not talking about Wemby right now, we're talking about the current draft class. of the last two draft class, who is someone that we can look at that's been left behind because of, and you already spoke about this today, Tyson, with like each year sort of like a new bubble. I think this is the perfect time to be going back one draft class, two draft classes, even three draft classes, and picking up some bargains of some really good players for 50% of what they were a year ago or 2 years ago. So you can definitely answer the question as Maddie asked it, but I'll just sort of twist that around just a little bit to make it a bit more user friendly.
To be honest, I don't know about the Spurs. I feel like everyone on their roster might be gone in within 1 to 2 seasons anyway. I think it's just a lot of 1 year contracts, 2 year contracts. I don't know. It's a hard one because, honestly, I don't know their roster too well in terms of like who's going to actually be staying with them long term and who's like. It's just all about like chance and how many people are getting minutes and that. Trey Jones is playing okay, but I don't know if there's even a market for him. I'm not too sure. But in terms of like the last two draft classes, he's not flying under the radar, but I think his prices are not comparable to what they should be with other players. But it's like Ben Chero, like he was the number one pick. He's got the Orlando Magic to the playoffs potentially. I think they might even get a home court advantage. They're only a game or 2 games out. How is this guy not getting Zion type hype? Like he's better than Zion. Like
I'll take that a step further. They're like the Thunder of the East. Why isn't he getting SGA type attention?
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I just don't know. And this guy was the number one pick, and was he born in America or not? No, maybe that's not. No, he's got Italian heritage. Yeah, he's got Italian heritage, but I think he won't play for Italy.
No, he played for Team USA. He's already been on the Team USA roster.
I think, but he's got. I think he used to play for Italy. Right. Okay. I think potentially. I think that was the case, but I feel like he's flying under the radar. Why is he not getting? He was number one pick. Usually, number one picks get hyped up heaps, and he's for some reason. Is it because when he went into draft night, he was meant to be the number 3 pick, and then for some reason, Orlando was smart enough to get him, that he really just never got that number one hype. I don't know, but I feel like he's definitely flying under the radar in prices.
I think part of it is location, and again, it's just in my mind, the really simple explanation for this is just they're just literally the OKC of the East, and no one really cares about them. They're not on national TV.
It's a smaller market team.
So
unfortunate.
Look, to be honest, you stole my answer, so I'll think up another one. While I'm thinking up another one, what have you got, Ad?
I had Devin Vassell because I thought we were going to stick on the Spurs.
No, that's totally fine. You can stick with that. That's perfect.
But I think the fact that I don't know anyone on the San Antonio roster means I don't think anyone's getting no love. I think the only player they really want to keep, they might want to keep Sochan and Vassell, but they're pretty much going to build around Wemby. So they'll be tooling their roster this year to see what pieces they keep. They'll rotate bits and pieces out, keep a couple of role players, and they'll try and build and recruit in stars.
They paid Vassell an absolute bag, so he's the obvious one to keep an eye on in terms of hobby prospecting because they have to give the kid opportunities. You can't pay someone that much money and sit him on the bench.
Yeah.
So I think that's definitely
just be a salary cap holder, but
I think them moving him would frankly almost be impossible. And then the other one to say too is Keldon Johnson because he's got a more trade-friendly contract, but at the same time, they've paid him a decent amount of cash. But I think Vassell is the one you'd be prospecting on. So the other one I think also too at the moment to look at is Cade Cunningham because not only is he sort of 2 years removed the bubble of being drafted, his team is an absolute disaster at the moment. So, they're not getting any attention
good
at
stats,
all.
bad team from
Finally,
him.
I was actually looking at his card values the other day, and they're not as tanked as what you'd imagine they'd be. So despite him being in this horrendous situation, he's still somehow, keeping his head almost above the water in terms of his hobby value. So, but at the same time too, I think his talent level there's enough there to actually, be prospecting and trying to snap this kid up.
Detroit should probably sign another guard and just trade him to San Antonio and let him play with Wemby.
That'd be pretty sick, actually.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't like that. That'll be a Spurs dominant decade after that.
Just one question for you guys quickly with Wemby is I just remember obviously he was number one pick as well. When I kind of filtered out of cards during this time, so it's I want to ask you guys this: if you guys were heavy into cards at the time. But when Yao Ming came in, did he have huge hype? Like, was his stuff crazy valuable? Because I mean, he had a country with 1 billion or 1.5 billion people behind him. He was a freak on the court. Like, he was so good just from the get go. Did he have this huge hype and then went away, or how did that work?
I remember he was hyped in the media. I don't remember about the hobby.
Okay.
But I feel like, Tyson, you touched on this a little bit before, that I don't remember my experiences being like this now, where you're like connected to so many different forums and Instagram and Twitter and stuff like that. But I mean, one thing I can comment on Yao Ming now, his prices have held up really, really well. And I think all of that is just directly feeds into the Asian market, because it's a bit like Aussie players in Australia that sell really well. I put Yao Ming to that same type of bucket, but in a Chinese bucket, I suppose, to say it in a better or worse way. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. All I remember is checking my card prices via buying a Beckett back in the. So I was like, "What websites do this stuff now?" God, that was my '90s collecting memory. But yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I used to I'm a hoarder. I never sold anything, so I still got everything.
You've never sold
my prices and stuff.
Nah.
And,
I've never sold anything. Like, obviously my own cards, I sell my own business, but I've never sold. Like, I've got the most random stuff. I've just never sold anything. Like, everything that I've got I've got friggin' I got everything awesome. That I got when a kid. All my Pokemon cards, first edition Pokemon cards, which is good.
Oh man! But don't talk to my brother about that. That is.
They were all. I used to keep them all in my pencil case, so like they're screwed.
They're bent up. They had rubber bands around them.
Yeah. So it's still cool to have, and but I got everything. I'm a bit of a hoarder, so I have to. I don't know. I'd rather just, when I pass away, give them to my daughter or something one day, and then she can sell it if she wants. I don't think I'll be selling anything.
Cool.
So while you guys were having a chat, so Yao Ming's rookie card in PSA 10, so his 2002 Topps Chrome, data on Card Ladder only goes back to 2005. It was selling for $29 US, so there wasn't this insane spike at all. The highest that card has ever sold for is 1,874. And Tyson, I'll give you 2 guesses of what year that card sold for at that price.
2020 and 2021.
Correct, Amondo. Well done. This is very good. And it's currently trading at $115. So,
oh wow, Jesus.
Yeah. The joys of that COVID crazy period, right?
So,
cool. Actually, that's
a base card. I mean, the refractor is selling for considerable amount more, but at the same time, it's not outrageous, is it? Really, I was expecting that to be way more.
Well, if you want to hear outrageous, I've got one to wrap things up. And since Tyson has dealt with both players, I thought it would be an appropriate finish to the episode.
Perfect.
One of our card ladder card versus card. Which would you prefer? A 2013-14 Panini Prism gold numbered to 10 BGS 9.5 Giannis rookie, or a 2012 gold Steph Curry numbered to 10?
Oh, what would I just rather have?
PSA 9. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
No, I think Russell's chucked the links into our little chat so you can see the comp.
Am I trying to guess which one's worth more, or just
which one would you prefer? So for those playing at home, the Giannis last sold for 115,200, and the Curry last sold for 114,000.
I mean, I would take the Curry in a heartbeat. I mean, we just spoke about it now. I think that, honestly, I feel like he is what Jordan was to kids back in the 80s and 90s. Like, I feel like when the kids now, when they're 30, 40, 50 years old and they're managers of jobs and CEOs of businesses and things like that, when they've got money, they're going to be buying stuff they couldn't afford today, which is Curry cards. I don't think they're going to be buying Giannis cards. That's just my opinion. I just think that Curry is so influential that a lot of the people that love Curry right now, they don't have money. They're kids, they're teenagers, but one day when they have the money, they're going to go crazy with it. Which is why I would probably be picking the Curry if I was talking about holding something for value. But even just holding something, if they were both worth $1, I'd take the Curry as well. I think that it's
$1 or $115,000. Either one is like it's
roughly,
totally cool.
Yeah. How about you guys?
I'm going for the Giannis every day of the week.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I think just for the fact that it's rookie populations in 2013, 14, it's actually comical now, like how many cards are in different variants and all that type of stuff is going around. I actually think for me the confronting part about this is that it's sold for $115,000 in a BGS slab. And I almost wonder in my head, if this was PSA 10, would that sell for 200, 250? And I feel like if you're a gambler,
wow, yeah,
do you just buy that card for 115, crack it out and send it off to PSA?
Oh,
if you've got that personality type, is that the type of thing that you would just do?
Yeah, and it'd 100% get a 10. That's how it works. There's money to be made there.
I get the appreciation of first year Prism and all that type of stuff, but at the same time, I just think that rookie emblem is very important. Yeah,
I think the rookie emblem number to 10. I'm on the fence. I do completely agree with Tyson's. Actually, the way you explained Steph Curry's influence as the way kids were when they were growing up with Jordan. And it was. Every second kid had a Jordan jersey on. That's the reason I bought a Pippen jersey, is because I didn't want to wear what everyone else was wearing. But everyone wore Jordan, and through and I poke fun at the LeBron era, but it's that every second kid's wearing a Steph Curry jersey. And as a basketball coach, watching 8-year-old children trying to throw up threes is quite laughable. But
so what I took away from what you said, Tice, is actually, should I be going out and buying a Steph Curry autograph now?
I mean,
because they're not going to be getting cheaper if you apply your rule to that.
He signs a lot, though. I think he signs a lot. I don't know. I don't know if there's.
That's another good point.
Yeah, I don't know if there's an official counter or something, but look at Magic Johnson. Like, they're worth nothing because he signed so much. Like, arguably, I think he's signed more than any athlete in the world. That's what I'm told. And same as Larry Bird. We don't know if these guys keep signing. I think that it's hard with autographs, isn't it? Like, Steph's a volume signer. He would be, and that's the reason why Kobe's autos weren't worth much when he was alive, because he was a volume signer. He was Panini's ambassador. He was signing a lot.
Is Steph Panini's ambassador at the moment?
Oh no.
Who's their ambassador?
It was Kevin Durant for a long time. When Kobe exited the league, it was Kevin Durant. I don't think it's Durant now. It could be no one potentially, but it might be Luka.
The reason I said Curry is because I feel like redemptions that go on field now, this is very subjective assessment, but it seems to me a lot of them come back as white boxes or Steph Curry autographs. So it seems to me like he does them a lot of favors. I'm sure there's some remuneration going on in that, favor space, but that's my gut feeling about Steph Curry.
I think when players can't sign that, I've seen stuff where they basically, the people that help me get stuff signed, Panini will speak to the same people to get stuff signed as well. So,
yeah, right.
There's that, but Curry is a volume signer, so I don't know what happens. He might do what LeBron did and go with Fanatics and be exclusive, and it holds the value of his orders. I'm not too sure, but I don't know. If you got like a rookie auto or something, surely that will hold well. But I think that's a lot of money.
I think that's just like way out of my price range. I was more sort of thinking about maybe a vet autograph of his, maybe a nice, impeccable or something like this.
Like a championship year one. I think if you got like something cool like a championship year, I think that's kind of makes it cool.
Timeless moments.
Yeah. Anything 3-point related is cool. Yeah, like the 3-point moment. Night Finals MVP.
Yeah.
But I guess like how many? We just don't know what will happen to a player when they're retired. How long they'll keep signing for.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you guys were discussed in a previous podcast about LeBron's. Didn't you have that same discussion? Like, are the floodgates open for LeBron autos in 2026? I think you guys had
what's going to happen?
What's going to happen? We don't know.
I think we're going to be drowning in them, to be honest.
Yeah.
But it's the old ones that are still going to hold their value because they're still rare. Yeah.
You'd assume so for sure.
Yeah. You'd expect that.
But yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, if you got a Curry auto, you're not going to look at that and discuss one day, are you?
No.
Correct. Very, very much so.
The Bangman March Gold Edition is now live. Limited edition number of boxes being packed up, which include 23-24 Prism Hobby Packet, 23-24 Prism Hobby Packet again, 22-23 Select Hobby Packet, 21-22 Select Hobby Packet, 21-22 Select H2, 21-22 Prism Fast Break, payment options, Pay ID, PayPal, Afterpay, Zip Pay. He's got it all there for you. 6 big packets, 3 rookie classes, $4.99 delivered to your door in the unmissable Bangman packaging. Use the promo code youcantcompthis for a $15 discount. Thank you so much, Amir and team at Bangman, for supporting the show. Look, Tyson, we asked you to come on for 20 minutes and you've given us an hour and 20 minutes. So
Gee.
I can't thank you enough. This has been a really wonderful evening. So thank you so much for giving us your time. And
no, thank you.
We're honoured that you'll come on and talk with us. So thank you so much.
This is awesome.
No worries at all. I mean, I appreciate the opportunity to come speak with you guys. Like, any time I can kind of help out with other Aussies, I'm always down for it. I appreciate what you guys do for the hobby, and also particularly in Australia. I know like a lot of people start a podcast and they give up in episode 8. So you guys are at rolling 130?
Yeah, 135
is
135 deep now. So I mean, all kudos to you guys to keep going and for getting this far. But yeah, if I'm able to help at all, I'm always willing to help Aussies, and whatever. We got to have each other's backs down here. So
we need some new wallpapers, man. That's for absolutely sure. Do you reckon you could hook us up with some of those?
I probably got some. Oh, what fan are you? Are you Sacramento Kings? Is that who?
I'm a NBA atheist, so anything you give me, fine. But yes, I love the Kings. That's for sure.
I've probably done some horrible ones back in the day.
Oh, shoot me some old school horrible ones, man. That would actually make me very happy.
Maybe I know there was some some shocking Steve Francis, and there's an account somewhere I got to look for them. But
I love Steve Francis back in the day. Send them through to me. That sounds awesome.
I will. I'll find a link. Find a link.
Oh God. No, this has been great. Really appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Thanks everyone for listening on the podcast space. Also, thank you to all of our Central Coast radio listeners. Welcome aboard, and we'll catch you next week.
See you next time.